So, welcome. As you may know, I made a tutorial about how to do a certain tech. And in that video, people still kept asking me, how do I do that tech? So what I did was I made like a goofy video, but not a very concise tutorial. So this video is dedicated to those who are really dedicated to learning that tech. So this video is for you, dear viewer. Now let's get started, shall we? Oh yeah, important things to like consider is there's 3 factors: positioning, timing, and most importantly, ping. So let's talk about positioning. So in positioning, you need to factor in 2 factors. Factor 1, your camera's position, and factor 2, your camera's position. So your character needs to be in line with your camera. So what I normally do if I catch an enemy while I'm still on shift lock, I just like press S. I turn around my camera and I just press S so that it can automatically be aligned. And also for positioning, you also need to be in line with your enemy as well. So say you catch him in M1, I just like do this. Catch him in M1. Don't go like that. Do this instead. Just like stay in line with your enemy, like at this. Yeah. This is good enough. So do this. Oh, I missed it, but like, oh, my shift lock was okay. So I do this. Well, the zombie has technically 0 ping, so I can't do it. So anyway, so camera needs to be in line with you and your enemy. So say you're fighting someone, to try to get not too close to your enemy, just like enough to do like the tech, enough to like get up on their head. Because how else are you gonna get on top of someone's head if you're just gonna do this? Of course not. So keep in mind, enemy, you, and your camera needs to be all aligned together. That's for positioning. So for timing now, you need to factor in whether or not you are needed to be on top of the enemy to perform the tech, or you need to be right after you do the uppercut. You dash forward a little bit towards forwards, then you suddenly turn around backwards, right? What I mean is this clip. See how I'm going a bit forwards? Then I immediately go backwards, just to make space, just to make a little room. And now here's a second clip where I don't do any of those and I just like go immediately back. Whatever you do, the timing is you go forwards with your dash a bit, and then immediately go back. Forward dash a bit, then back. That's how the timing should be. Third, and most importantly, ping. So with ping, you need to factor in also 2. Your character's ping and your opponent's ping. So let's say you have around 80 to 60 ping, which is good, I gotta give you that. At that ping range, you should be able to do it easily. With 150 ping, it's a bit difficult, but once you get the hang of it, with that ping range, you should be able to do it. But over that range is extremely difficult to the point where I can't even do it. So props to you if you can, but in my opinion, 150 is the bare minimum. So props to you if you can do that. Now let's factor in your opponent's ping. So let's say you have 60 to 80 ping, but your opponent has superior ping to you, say like 40 to 30 to 50, and so on and so forth. you would have a lot more trouble, because since there's two ways of that being about, since your opponent's ping is superior, that means they can get hit by you more easily. But in turn, in proxy, your opponent can hit you more easily. So it's a double-edged sword for them. But since they have superior ping, that means they barely or even have a little bit of delay or a little bit of less delay. It can really mess up the tech. For example, your opponent is going, let's say you do the tech, right? Your opponent goes up, but immediately you couldn't even do the dash yet, they're already down. So if you do the tech on the weakest dummy, you should know what I'm talking about. That's a good way of like saying how people with superior ping would, deal with that type of thing. Same goes for higher ping rather than lower. I mean, ping isn't really that all important in terms of doing the tech in particular. But what matters is your ping must be good. It must be good, and your opponent must also have good ping. It needs to be really balanced. Not really balanced, but just balanced enough so you can do that tech. So let's factor in the visualization of how you would do it. So let's say you did a tech, right? You uppercut them, then you dash. So here is where you should dash. This is a place where it is the sweet spot. If your character stops for a bit, right, while your opponent is like, let's say your opponent gets uppercutted by you, you dash forwards, then backwards, and in proxy, they still hadn't registered the ragdoll for the acceleration of going up. So, in theory, you are being stopped by an invisible wall, right? And you can easily do the tech. Here's the sweet spot I'm talking about. See how I stopped for a bit? See how my opponent stopped for a bit also, then went up, but immediately gets caught with like the tech? That's the sweet spot. That really is the sweet spot. And here is another clip where you don't really hit the sweet spot, but it still hits. I mean, I just call it good timing. But the sweet spot I'm talking about is perfect timing. So what you guys need to practice, not really practice, I don't really practice the tech all that much, but what you need to do in order to get better, as explained in my latest video, is to just use it in fights consistently. That's pretty much it. And some side notes, if you're even more dedicated. People do the timing differently from what they see or what they hear. For example, people do it with the visual cue, and other people do it with the audio cue. Most people would do the visual cues. So once they see a white ring forming, they immediately dash forwards, then backwards. That's normally how people would do it. I personally find it more comfortable in doing the audio cues rather than the visual cues, simply for preference, really. But Mr. 3OZMC, even if I did all those things, I still can't hit them. Well, it all boils down to your experience and how you go about things. It really also boils down to your game sense too. It really boils down to how much FPS you got, how your PC is performing. It's pretty much everything needs to be good. Your experience, your timing, your knowledge, your positioning, and everything really. And hey, if you guys really need another tutorial on another tech that's as concise as this and as detailed as this, you can just tell me in the comments. I can maybe do that if I have time and if I'm motivated enough and if I know. Anyway, that's it. You are now a pro player. Goodbye.